things that like you would never expect. But I've been doing my research about that area, and it says back in I think when the Italians or something happened in New Haven with the Italians, and they used to use that as like a drug cartel type of way of getting away. Like when I tell you trap doors, you've been in my house. It's doors upon doors, doors you would never think you could go in and go through. I'm like, what? But that's New Haven. New Haven has a lot of
I grew up in the Ville, and it was.
And the crazy shit about this Ville is highest per capita black home ownership in the mid-1900s.
Sure is.
Yes.
And that's why you still have a lot of black people there because they're not giving up their homes.
Yeah.
And that's super crazy because the Ville, you know, it's like they were the ones who were like the fungus that traveled around the city, swallowing up shit, shooting shit, killing shit.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you find out all of these kids was raised in the church. All of them got both parents in the
crazy
house.
part.
Yes.
All of them got their own.
And their parents own the houses,
and their parents
they have
own the
good
house
jobs.
and everything. And I'm like, I mean, like if I had that kind of information when in 1989 when I was 13, shit, when I was 10, if I knew that they had all of that, I'd have went through the Ville myself as an 11-year-old and murdered everybody. Because it was so disrespectful to what we were growing up in on Sherman and Scranton. And the cage and everything. And we lost our, you know, the OG got murdered in 86. It was crazy. And it's like, what do you do when there's no fathers to be seen? My neighborhood, we had grandfathers, 2 or 3, maybe an uncle.
Luckily, I had my dad.
Father to be seen.
Yeah, it was not.
I'm talking about 35, 40
But that's where we have these men now because there was no fathers. When we were, now we have these men.
And without jobs, with crack, with prison, with all of that. So it's like now masculinity has been defined
non-existent
by incarceration.
True.
Right. And the thing is, what I don't like is, and what I've been seeing lately is women are being blamed for being too masculine or too independent, and we're we don't need a man. Do you know how many women that I talk to say it's not that we don't need a man?
I agree.
It's not that we don't need a man.
I mean,
we would like a man to be a man, but it's not like we don't need
food,
one.
Clothes, shelter. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, like, it's like, oh, you're so independent, you think you're a man. No, it's because I had to pick up your slack, man. But I had to pick up your slack.
The sad thing about the slack is the crack era created the slack. The crack era, was like, nah, for nothing. You couldn't get a phone. You know, I'm not gonna touch the table no more.
It's okay.
You couldn't get a phone number in 1989 without somebody asking you to buy them some earrings. So
and that's
when you're 13 years old and you got to pull out $500 to buy some earrings in order to have a relationship or to get a phone number.
I agree with that, and that's one thing I have learned. That's why when a lot of guys they approach me as me being single, sometimes they say, "Oh, I got money. I could buy you this. I could buy you that." Well, you got the wrong type of female. Yeah, that's where the independence comes in on my part. Yeah, I always tell them, I don't care what you could buy me. You know what I care about? The time that we spend together, how you intellectually could soothe me, how we can actually grow. I want to know who you are.
Who you are.
But that's the thing.
Where the mom was at? Tell them come in and sit down too.
But listen, let me tell you one thing I learned about that. The reason a lot of men is insecure in that area because they used to that. Because their mothers, they see their mothers do that, like, oh, you got a man got to take care of me and take care of this. No, you take care of home on your own.
I think that a lot of men are the way they are now because of that mindset that some women have where, no, I just need you to be around. I just need you to treat me right and I'll take... No, we still got to hold these men at some standard. We don't hold these men at standards no more because it's like, oh, money's not all that because I could do it myself and, you know, I could hold it down and you could just be around and be that good. No,
I don't say that.
I need y'all to catch this heads up real quick because, like, you know, I work for Planned Parenthood, just so you know. So, I'm an educator. I'm basically the only certified sex educator in the region because nobody wants to touch it.
Right.
I go and I talk to parents about how to address sexuality with their kids and toxic masculinity and all the rest of this stuff. And the weird thing about masculinity is it's like all that tough shit. We teach all of that. Boy, get up, stop crying, all the rest of that stuff. Yeah. And it's not.
That's not.
You know, it's not.
That's
toxic.
That's toxic.
But this is what is taught from the womb
Yeah.
Until they get out your house, because we want to make them tough enough to deal
And you
with
want to
that.
know the older
But
skills now.
there's something about that's necessary.
It is
Yeah.
extremely
So,
necessary.
Because you don't.
But then you want
Because what
then
women
you want
don't
you want
want
them to soften up. You
'cause
want them
what
to
women-
be vulnerable and emotional and be available to you.
Because what women don't want is a beta
He ain't got
male.
nowhere to balance.
Yeah, you
His
don't.
mama don't balance it
But
with him.
listen, what women don't want is a beta male. That's
what I said.
So
what you said.
and so you got to be careful on what you ask for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you will have a soft ass dude that you like. Hold up, I didn't want this though, and you're gonna want that dude that's a little bit more hard headed. You know what I mean? So
It has to be a balance.
it has to be
It has
balanced.
to be.
It does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I want to just bring it back to you, Sabrina, because you called this.
I did.
You hit me up and was like, "Yo, I want to." So, what was your purpose of bringing all this together?
Okay, I called this because I really wanted to get men and women together so that we could highlight on the fact that women are trying to take away the masculinity that we need to see in our men. And we like, okay, recently a woman was arrested because she whooped her son. And a lot of people had a lot to say about it because she was calling her son a nigga and beating him and cussing and stuff. But then, I surpass all that only because I'm a single mother and I understand the frustration. So I ain't finna judge you because I'm sure that boy is still fed. He eat.
They actually took him.
They
Yeah,
did
they
all
did.
her other kids.
I'll tell you straight up, he's broken and he will never be fixed.
No.
Okay, now listen.
Because of that one situation?
No,
if
it has
you
to
talk
be
to
continued.
a young man like that.
You feed them what you feed them.
You
the
are
poison.
destroying him.
Yes.
And the rest of the world is already set up to destroy him. And if you speak to a young man, that young man was what, 10?
Yeah, that's why I said he was very young.
He was
for
too
that.
young. And she, just, that was way too hard.
That was
Yeah,
too
that
much.
was
Now, I watched.
It's sickening because the teacher even looked as if she was disgusted. Like, I should have never called mine.
Yeah.
I watched babies get whipped. I mean, not for nothing.
Yeah.
It used to happen all the time where parents would
That's
come
what we grew up in
put
the
you
era
in
being your
front of the
behind.
classroom, give you the business,
And
and
then
they
keep it
wouldn't
going.
speak to you in that manner.
Nope.
Okay, now I'm sorry because I see y'all getting on the lady again. That's not what I wanted.
No, I'm getting on the language. I'm not going to talk about the person. I'm
Okay.
talking about the behavior.
And you're right, and I agree. But my question was, where's the father? Not saying he's not around. There's a man in the little boy's life that he knew. That was a good man, I'm saying. Because there's a lot of men in these children's lives that is basically like, y'all don't got no father because your father is not acting like a man. So you can't get that example from a human being with a penis and two balls, but he not acting like a man. So that's why kids with the father still act out because you don't really have a real man as a father. Okay, with that being said, I just want to know, where's the father? Why don't we think of this? And I feel like, all right, with children, I can tell if there's a man in their life. There's some type of something. For me it was. And see, that's just for me. And that's why I wanted to get everybody together because when I was voicing how I was feeling, a lesbian woman that is the stud in her relationship basically said, a man don't make a difference. And I'm like, yes it do.
Yes, it does.
And why you saying that?
Big time.
This is why I called this, because I'm like, are you saying that because you played a man in your relationship? Because you let your hair grow out and you put a strap on? And yo, I'm not homophobic. I'm just a realist. And that's a problem. Because I know you're not the only lesbian that's thinking like that. And that's not right, yo.
So let me ask you this, man. That's really good because you all agree that that it does make a difference for a man to be there.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
So I feel like where we best build is when we focus on why it's important for a man to be there and why it's important for a woman to be there. Because this is where
it balances out.
Because this is where the balance is out, and this is where men can see, okay, because when we talk about men not showing up and not being what they are, we gotta also look at a lot of shit going on systematically to create space where men really make some fucked up decisions. It's not just all about our morals are fucked up and we just fucked up in the head and we're lazy or something like that. There's a lot of things that took place before we were even born that got us fucked up.
Willie Lynch.
You know what I'm saying? Same with y'all too.
It's still
we just watched that happen in the election.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, I'm with that and I like that because we need balance. It's not about toxic. Anybody could be toxic because just how I was saying, where's the father? I was also thinking like, well, see, this is why women need to stop ostracizing the father just because y'all not together no more. Like, have a solid reason for your kid's father not being in your child's life.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to use me. I really don't prefer for my daughter's father to reach out to her because he smoked dust. And when you do that, it alters your chain of thinking.
It does.
Yeah.
I know that because I'm able to walk right by him and him not even know I'm the mother of his kids. Mind you, he don't got no more kids. It's only us, our 2 daughters. That's it.
That's
So,
a good point.
you get what I'm saying? So,
Dust is
because I'm the mother
real.
that I
I have
am,
my history with that.
look, because I'm
Tell
the
you,
mother
no,
that I
for real.
am, I can't, and I never, now let me say this. I've been a mother for 14 years. Not one time have you offered me $1, but I never stopped you from coming to see your daughter.
And that's exactly right.
I never
That's
in my
exactly
life,
right.
and I never would, yo. And it was nothing to me. All right, I'm used to this. I work, you don't. It's cool. You don't help me financially. It's cool.
Cool, yeah.
But guess what? My babies still love you, and they know you their father, and that love is unconditional. I was never getting away until I found out that you getting high now on a substance that you can't be controlled. It's not weed. It ain't even liquor, in my opinion.
No,
even
it's
that
not.
though,
It's a
you know, it's a
mindset.
different type
of high.
It's a different type of high.
It's a dangerous
So
high.
in that situation where the father
Very dangerous.
would literally cause harm to your child, I can understand that.
Definitely.
Other situations where y'all just don't like each other no more.
That's not a big
sound
enough reason.
But what we have to
Yeah.
understand is, you know, we the women always get a bad rap, and it's like the bitter baby mama. But it's a lot of men who choose not
Yeah.
to come around too.
Right.
Because honestly, I know some women that wants to, like, give me a break. Take your child.
I agree with that.
I ain't doing that. No, I got stuff to do. When do women get to say, I have something to do?
Yeah.
I
They
can't
don't
take my
believe- they
child
don't
because
believe
I have
that
things to
sometimes.
do. I'm trying to get myself together.
Yeah.
So I don't have time for that child
Right.
right now. I got to get on my feet.
Right.
But yet women have to get on their feet with child in tow.
Right. And what needs to be understood is, as it's like yes, you're right. People don't understand this. Listen, in order for anybody to raise a child, whether it be me, I know a lot of single fathers, by the way.
Yeah,
Definitely.
me too.
Yes.
I know a lot of single good fathers.
Good fathers.
Let me say that. And when Father's Day come around, I hope I got it this year because I got a lot of fathers to
Yeah.
salute.
Shout out, y'all.
Shout out to y'all because real talk is getting so real now where fathers and men just.
But we don't get empathy like that.
No,
let me tell you that.
And I agree.
So let me tell you.
I agree.
But let me tell you
gotta do
something,
something.
man. Listen, because if a woman was in my situation,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and not to say that I don't have a co-parent, I got a co-parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if a woman was in my situation where the co-parent makes significantly more money than, so if I was making significantly more money than the mother, but yet I still demand that she go half on everything.
Yeah.
I still like if you
There's still
hit,
equal
if you messed up, that's on you. I know I make double what you make, but yo, you still need to give me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would be considered an asshole.
Okay.
You will.
Yep.
That's what I would be
You're right.
considered.
You
You're
will
right.
be.
But because I'm a man, it's like, well, you just need to handle
You
your
just gotta do
business.
what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be I would be super one. I would have my own talk show if I was a woman right now. Real talk.
Yeah.
But right now it's like, nah, you a man, so that's what you do. You know what I mean? That's cool. I'll take that. But the empathy, yo, it is not there for fathers the way it is for
I do
men.
know a lot of men. My brother is a
women.
single father right now, and his baby mother doesn't want nothing really to do with the son because of her own personal reasons, whatever it may so be. And I do see that my brother, the things that was offered to me once I became a single mother, he's not getting offered all that stuff. Dealing with housing and stuff like that, they basically tell him, do it on your own. And I think that's something bad in the system, and I don't agree with that because just like us, when you being a single parent is new to you. if you used to having somebody constantly there with you 24/7 as a parent, it was a thing where y'all both was responsible. Now it's just, okay, I'm mainly responsible, and you the person that's outside the home that has to deal with it once in a while.
Exactly.
But I also feel like that's kind of wrong on the behalf of the system. Everything that's bringing us, and then I notice a lot of single fathers that got felonies do not get the responsibility of nothing. Nothing. And that's why I say it took for me to actually be dealing with a lot of guys that I'm around right now, and I'm hearing this all the time, and I want to go to school for it, for the fact of it, because I feel like that's wrong. I want to become an advocate for that reason, because it's hard. Like, a guy could be with a woman and they don't realize some men are taking care of the child more than the mother is, because the mother chooses to do other things. And I feel like that's something that DCF, anybody, we as women, we may look at a man as being a single father and say, oh, his baby mother's out here prostituting whatever. You never know what may happen. It may was a disagreement between them, so now it forced him to be a single father. But if we see him living with a sister or somebody, we judging him. It's hard to get an apartment out here. There's not a lot of jobs.
It could be even something as simple as when the forms are given at school. You know what I mean? Who is usually offered the one to sign? It's the mother. I had to check the social worker at the school. Wasn't nothing major at all. It was something like so insignificant, minor. But you know, even something slight, they'll be like, "Oh, connecting with the social worker, make sure everything's okay." But the mother got contacted, and I told the mother, I said, "So wait, hold up. Did she ask for you, or did they suggest you?" She said, "Oh, well, she asked my daughter. My daughter was like, oh, they suggested mommy." And I'm like, okay, so I gotta check that. So I went to the school and I had to check that. Listen, you got my number, right? Am I there? Am I on the? Make sure I'm on the. Okay, because you could contact me.
I feel like that's because they not used to seeing fathers doing it.
And
you know what I'm saying?
That's why I had the question of where's the father. And I'm not judged. I don't know. Maybe the little boy got a mental instability. I don't know. All I'm saying is,
well, if he does, she don't be talking.
The young men, even in 2019, who go around calling women bitches and stuff, it makes me so uncomfortable. The little boys that's going around with their pants sagging. I talk to them. I be like, young man, please, do you know what that signifies? They don't know what it means. I stopped a little 16-year-old. He was crossing by me on Dixwell. He was so handsome he could bend my side, and I was like, young man, please. And I gave him some history real quick at the red light, and he was like, thank you. He was like, I won't let him sag no more. See what I'm saying? But why ain't nobody else tell you, man?
I'm sorry, I see a lot of older men with their pants sagging. I see a lot of older men with their pants sagging.
Because somebody took their belt from them. And their shoestrings. And a chunk of their life.
Right. Let's talk about that, sir.
You know, because it's like, I'm full disclosure, I'm 43 years old. I challenge people in New Haven, name 10 black men in New Haven with a college degree who were born and raised here who still live here. No. And you can't.
No, they left.
Because they don't exist.
They left or they
dead. Left. Or they dead.
Yeah.
Or they went to prison.
Right.
And a lot of brothers in that decade of human beings who have college degrees.
You're right.
And definitely, if they got college degrees, did they come home? Was anything here for them?
No.
And it's like, to Jay's point, systemically, there are reasons why men have been emasculated. There are reasons why they've been taken out of position as what we saw, or what we see in our grandparents, great-grandparents, or what have you, when the man was the primary, hunter-gatherer or the provider for the family, 5, 6 kids.
My grandfather had 12
Even some of our fathers. I know me and Sabrina's father. Like, my father was a man's man.
And they talk about living in this city where once upon a time I used to have a job, I lose a job, and I walk across the street and get another one.
It's harder now.
Yeah, it is harder. I'll give them
harder
that.
is an understatement. There's a robot at Stop and Shop.
Come on.
That's only legal. That's only a way to legalize profiling.
Yeah.
That's all that is. That's all that is.
And to kill a job.
But artificial intelligence is taking over.
Yes.
We need to be careful. That's why we need to start planting our own food.
So,
buy our own land.
Yeah.
Yo, starting our own business. You can start a hair store. You don't gotta go to Wayne Lee.
So just to what
Shaquasia.
So Chanel, to what you said your father was a man's man.
Definitely.
So what is that?
Okay, man's man to me. So my mother works and my father works.
Mm-hmm.
My father took care of the majority of the bills. He let my mother pick and choose what she wanted to take care of. But he felt as a man that his responsibility is to take care of the home. She still did bills, but she wanted to
take care of the home in a way of going out and making the money.
Exactly. Or going out and making sure that the home was taken. Like if my mother needed to pay this bill, pay that bill, go grocery shopping, he was able, even though she had her own money, he was able to provide. Now if she asked him, it wouldn't be a problem.
My dad
but
was
a
like
lot of
that
times
too.
she used her own money. She did. She didn't like break his back.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for women. Like
I'm gonna tell you
because
something
your man
about
can't
that,
do
though.
you don't break their back.
My mom was like that. That's how I was raised. I seen my father do the same thing. But you want to know why I was against that in so many ways? That handicapped my mother. That handicapped her in some ways where now she became so dependent on my dad of paying a majority of the bills, and it became strenuous on him.
But that's what I said was my mom worked and
my mom did too, but it still was like.
So on one end, a man is a man that's going to go out, provide, and do whatever he got to do to bring money in.
Yeah,
what else
exactly.
is a man's man?
Okay, so.
See, because you know what? Go ahead. Because you know what I think is going to happen? You're going to mention the things that are in the man that you actually say aren't being men.
Yeah, most likely.
You know what I'm saying?
So my father was a provider. He was a protector. I never had to worry. Like if my mother went and got into some type of trouble, somebody wanted to fight her or anything, any of that, she knew she could call my father. My father would be right there.
Yeah.
Like he was a protector. Like providing and protecting to me is a man. If you cannot do any of those or even one of those.
Do you feel like that's being in today's society in mainstream media that's being diminished?
Definitely.
Yes.
How?
Definitely.
How is it being diminished? Is it being diminished by us just not doing it, or is it being diminished by how we're being portrayed?
By the women
allowing less.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
And that's what I was talking about expectations and
about
standards.
the women letting men drive their car while they at work. You know what I'm saying? By the women allowing, for real. By the women allowing the men to
Sabrina, why you do that?
sideways stuff, yo, and we're not acknowledging it. But if you don't like that, why are you not saying nothing about it?
You gotta.
But then
we
wait,
gotta
how
take our poison.
about the women that believe in a man's dream and want to support him?
What's wrong with that?
In his PlayStation.
What's wrong with that, though?
There's nothing wrong with that,
Nothing
right?
at all.
Until it's taken for granted.
But that's for us to know the amount. You
Okay,
can
you
tell
gotta
when
know
somebody-
boundaries.
Yeah, it's boundaries. If your boundaries, listen, it's like this. I used to say this to my baby father, and this is where I used to say I was a little toxic because I wanted him to be more than what he was to me. I wanted him to be the man that, like you said, a provider and this and that. But somewhere he's not built to do that. He didn't want to learn how to drive. I felt like a man needed to drive. A woman shouldn't be in the driver's seat all the time. That was me trying to force him. Oh, you need to drive. But what I didn't know, he had something in the back of him. He was in a car accident as a kid. He had a lot of trauma going on.
Yeah.
And I used to talk hella shit.
So you
That's what I
didn't know
can say.
that before?
Right.
Yeah, like it's some things that he used to hide from me as him growing up that like I found out from a relative by talking to one of his aunts or somebody.
So is it possible? So is it
Yeah.
possible that for a lot of situations that women are not taking the time to
learn the man.
learn exactly what's behind, what's under the hood of that man?
Yes.
Because a lot of times,
You'll dig deep,
if
you'll
you
find
don't,
a
if
lot.
you dig, because we already deal with the toxic part that I will agree with, that we hold things in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, there are areas and spaces where we do let it out.
Mm-hmm.
Are
But
you-
only if you feel comfortable enough to
They
do
have to
so.
True.
feel comfortable.
True.
They have to feel comfortable.
So it's like there might be times, and vice versa. We might not be taking the time to learn y'all.
Exactly.
And to learn what's actually triggering what you feel and what you think and how you see.
That's
Then
true.
how about when
Like I
women,
said about that young man. No, go ahead.
I to your point, how about when women do get a chance to learn the guy, but then we coddle them because we learned them. So we learn them, and then it's like, oh, you went through this in your childhood. Your mother wasn't there the way she was supposed to be. So let me love you like your mama should have loved you.
can't do that.
And then they run all over you They
you
don't
gotta
respect
learn what
it.
men
They
to
lose
do
respect
that.
for
You gotta learn what
you
men
know?
to do that for, and that's something I had to learn. My baby father, like I said, he wasn't that mean. No matter how much I tried to baby him and try to soothe him, I started becoming toxic towards him because it wasn't working. So I started being aggressive towards him now.
Yeah.
But I learned that I couldn't do that method with him, but who I deal with now is a little bit easier. Because I took the, like he said, he got the time. When we first met, we both was DMish people. Like, we started out as friends. He didn't know me, I didn't know him. It was a battle royal of masculine and feminine energy all over the place in my house when me and this boy first started dealing with each other, because I didn't want to take the time to get to know somebody new on a deeper level. But when I did start to actually sit down and we started communicating, like I said, and a lot of men don't trust a lot of women because we'll use that against them. Like, your mother this, your mother that. That's why you ain't have a father. This is why you didn't have. That's where I learned we cannot do that, because then it becomes imperitable. They start resenting us. They start treating us like hell because we already throwing something that's already tearing them down. My cousin just killed himself recently over a baby mother. I asked my aunt, was it okay for me to ever discuss this? His baby mother used what she knew, which was she knew he didn't have nobody but his kids. What she did was use that against him as a woman, and she beat down on his insecurities already. That was already inside of his heart. And what she did was it caused him to become rage. He started becoming angry and aggressive towards her. Vice versa, the same thing. So she threatened to keep the kids, and then what he ended up doing, he's deceased now. Like, ain't nothing we can take back. But you know what I hold to that? This why I'm glad I did discuss. You brought me here because I promised myself. Me and him discussed a lot of things before he decided to do that, and it was a lot of things dealing with. He told me, don't be a toxic woman. He said, whatever you do, you get to know a man. Whether you and that man don't match no more, that's just in it with a compassion in your heart for him, because he's going through things that he's not going to express to you. But it's for you as a woman to see blindly through the veil, like push back the veil. Okay, all these men, I always say, all these men be out here trying to act hard as hell. You know what I say? You're not hard, and you're not hard. That's a mask that you're wearing on your face because you don't know who. You got to be tough for your boys, but you got to be soft for some women. And some women you try to be soft for, but these women got masculinity issues as well. So now you got to be tough with them, like treat them like the homeboy. That's where we get the player guy, the guy that want to play us, because they don't know how to treat us, because most women don't have softness for their situations. I don't say baby them, but I say I'm a person, I'm going to listen to you. I want to hear you out. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and I don't see you coming up out of that, then I know you just a person that's stuck. I still got to have love in my heart for you and just keep moving forward.
So I know, Kev, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think relationships are something that we should study, especially in the black community. At one time, men had rites of passage, meaning that we had an older uncle, a father, someone to teach us what manhood was.
Yes.
But I also think that what we call masculine and feminine energy should be studied. And one of the things that I think we need to take in consideration is, as a man, we're nothing without purpose. So what we have in our community now, a lot of the brothers that have purpose, they're gone. Now, the remnant of the sisters in the community are searching for a man with purpose.
Right.
But then biologically, we have needs. And then relationship-wise, we have needs. And I think one of the things we have to sit down and talk about is, how do we complement each other? Because I think, toxic femininity, toxic masculinity, we could use those terms. But I think it's toxicity how we get together.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, two good ingredients could get together and not be good for the recipe.
Right.
Yes.
So, so one of the things that I'm looking at constantly, I'm asking brothers, now, what is your purpose? I think we put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Know your purpose, know where you're going, and out of that purpose, you're going to meet somebody that complements you.
Exactly.
But along with that purpose, knowing what's fueling your purpose. Because if local fame, you know what I'm saying, or money is fueling your purpose,
that's
not your purpose.
That's not it.
Going back to that video, because I feel like that video kind of spawned this conversation.
Which video? Oh, okay, the video with the
young man.
Oh, it did.
The young man getting beaten by his mother. And now, that's his first 18 years. The first, idea of love that he's receiving, because his father may not be there. But we know that his mother is there. She calls him the N-word in school in front of authority.
She drags him.
He's going to endure this behavior for 18 years. At which point, what do we think is going to happen with that?
He'll get used to that. He's going to think that's
at
okay.
18, what is she going to tell him?
About the incident?
About life. They're 18, grow up, adults, get the out. So now we're sending an 18-year-old child into the world to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
And find some place to be.
That's when they end up with the wrong female.
That's when they end up driving your car while you're at work.
Exactly.
Because once you turn 18, the law says you're an adult.
Yeah.
And your parents can effectively divorce you.
Yeah.
You can become very seriously homeless. And now you got to manage that. The human brain is not fully developed. Our decision-making process is not fully developed until we're 25. So we're leaving 18-year-old homeless men out there to grow for the next 7 years into men.
A lot can happen through that.
Be a man after you suffer, because you might have those uncles, you might have those positive male role models, but we all know they're few and far between.
Very.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the likelihood? I tell you, it's like, as an educator in New Haven, I talk to young people and be like, yo, how many of y'all been to the top of East Rock?
A lot of them haven't.
And an overwhelming majority of them have not even seen the top of East Rock. Better yet, been to New York City or been to anywhere beyond. They're stuck because their situation stuck them.
And you want to know, son, I like the fact that you brought that up, because I said to somebody recently, I said, you should want to see more. You know what they told me? This is normal for me. I said, this ain't normal. That's what we stuck in our ways when we think, because of fear, that because our parents never took us traveling. Don't you want your kids to see more out of life? Don't you want to see more out of life yourself? But you can't help somebody that's stuck in this city. Has a lot of stuff people.
But I want to go on to something that we did talk about before, and Kev brought it back up, was that, focusing on the words toxic is fucking us up.
Yeah.
Because we keep focusing on what's toxic about each other
instead of what's
really
our
great.
Good attributes.
And then also forgetting that whatever's toxic we weren't born with that toxicity.
That's a curse on your life.
We were born into a systemic toxicity along with other social norms that became toxic, but they weren't with us. You know what I'm saying? We were babies. We were babies that just were experiencing life. You know what I'm saying?
To a gauntlet.
Right. So with that being said, I would like to know, you know what I mean? Or even for the brothers, if y'all want to share first, what is it about black women that we know is so great and so beautiful that we know we need for our purpose, for our life, for our existence, all of that. And I would like that to be in return from the women. You know what I'm saying? Because now we shift the conversation into something that's more productive, where we know we need each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think what we have to do, we have to stop attacking each other and look at what happened to us historically.
Yeah.
When my brother talked about generations of men who have been victims of recidivism, not victims, but we've been recycled through the prison industrial complex. And so I know brothers who, for whatever reason, most of their uncles, most of their fathers have been through the system. That seems to be our rites of passage. That's when we learn manhood.
Right.
Yeah.
So in order for us to reverse that, then we have to look at what happened in history. I think when my sister said she wants a provider and a protector, we have to also bring it to present times. We live in a society where black women are much more educated.
Yeah.
They most likely will have a better job in some cities, and they're going to be making much more money than the men in their life.
So providing might look different.
But right, so provision may mean wisdom.
Yes.
Enough to handle that situation.
Yes.
So that the both of you can work together, and then understanding how that works, because at the end of the day, you are going to be parents. You are going to be somebody's mate in life, and that individual may be a protector on another level, and maybe a provider on another level.
Because you know what, if a woman sees a man, even if he's not making that bread, but he's praying every day, he's meditating, he's focused on what he's doing, he's out there doing what he got to do on a physical level, but on a spiritual level, if he's really he's pouring into himself. And then pouring into her?
Yes.
That's a different provision.
It's balanced.
So when I say provision, I'm saying to myself, when a brother says, okay, baby, you bringing in this, I'm bringing in that. She's going to look to you to see if you have guidance.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, you're looking for a protector. Protector doesn't mean always physical.
Exactly.
Right? That might be. But protection might be, how am I going to protect the peace and sanctity of my household?
Yes.
How am I going to make sure things work?
Yes.
Because 70% of relationships break up because of financial issues.
Yes.
Definitely.
So how am I going to measure out and look at my household and say, okay, let's measure things out. Let's make sure things work. I know that you make more than me, but where is it that I can offer my gifts and skills to give guidance?
Right.
Because that's what she's baby. After a while, she's gonna say, baby, what do you think about this? If you don't have anything credible to say, the respect level is just gonna go under
exactly
40-50%, and that's where she starts making statements like, I don't need no man. I do all good by myself.
So you know what? It's interesting you say that, because I think that's important for brothers to understand that when you talk about protector, provider, you know, we now have to be more in tune on a spiritual level. Because,
say that again.
Or statistically, women are getting more educated. They are making more money. So what does that mean? That means if you can't provide, you have nothing. That means that you are only leaning on the guidance of material.
Yes.
The guidance of spirit. A woman's always going to be receptive to that. You know what I mean? And feel supported, feel protected.
And can I say this too, real quick? Right now, I'm studying social work, and in social work, the history of social work in America is based on the removal of the man. And so you have to look at it. Now, you may be removed in that you don't have, you may not have the finances for a minute. Because my thing is that if a brother's focused, he's going to find finance.
Definitely.
But the history of social work was whenever they saw a male, anything from a man in the house, they have even been studies where the social worker will break down a door to see if they find the man of the house in the bed there, because the way that we used to do it was, okay, baby, you can't come around certain hours because we're trying to make it together, make ends meet.
This is when we got fooled that the civil rights era was for us.
Basically, so that began the whole idea of what you're going to do is you're going to get aid, you're going to go to the projects. But as you go to the projects and you get aid, you can't have a man physically there.
And that's
now you know that she can't.
That's true.
But you know that she couldn't make those children by herself. So 2 or 3, a generation is 15 to 20 years. So 2 or 3 generations of men that were not physically in the house, but a generation of men that was not physically in the house, but tried to father outside the house, and then totally we were removed. And it may seem like this was something that happened once in a while, but it happened naturally.
Thing.
So now we got used to. Now we got children that are used to no fathers in the house. There was a time no father was in the house, but he was still giving direction and had respect for his children. So now we got instances where it's just become the norm. That I have children, fathers are not around. I didn't make this child by myself, but now I gotta leave. I'm in the house with myself. I'm raising my children, and the man is not around, and it's become the norm. So when people respond to a simple thing like this, when I was in school administration, and also in the classroom teacher, we have report card conferences. I used to see teachers, white and black, have a father and a mother, and talk to the mother like the father wasn't there.
They still do that.
So in the society, we've gotten used to the father not being there, and there was times that people try to do that to me, and I would command your respect and say, wait a minute, and speak on behalf of my
You
daughter.
wanna know something?
I'm going to command your
Like
respect.
that, too.
The same way that Jay said, wait a minute, and check that. So as men now, what we have to do is stepping back, we have to command respect. And that is, command and respect means you got to pull your weight financially. You have to command. Now, the male and female, a lot of people now get upset when I talk about masculine and feminine energy. Because there's a difference. The masculine energy is that leader, the one that makes decisions. And as a man, if you don't make decisions, and a woman's gonna come to you and say, "Sweetheart, what do you think we should do?" And if you my uncle, my father, I don't know, baby. What do you think we should do?
Or if you're even guided by preconceived notions on how to get money, and it's not coming from wisdom,
right?
She gonna peep that too,
exactly.
Because a wisdom ain't. I mean, a woman is intuitive.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think that's right. Exactly. I don't think we need to get that bundle.
No, but listen, let me tell you something. I'm learning. It's a lot of men. Men have intuitive things too. I'm running into some men that is very here, and it's like. That's where the masculine and the feminine energy come in. There's a feminine for every masculine. There's a masculine for every feminine that's out here. That's where it comes in. We got to learn ourselves before we get into relationships, because then you know exactly. And I always tell, because I do readings and stuff, I stick to this with everybody. I say, know who you are before you think you're going to go and find a man. You automatically going to come in tune with your soul family. Who belongs to you is automatically going to be in tune with you. You and this person going to balance off each other. I learned who my soul person was off of that, because, like you say, a man has to know his purpose. If a man knows his purpose, his woman is automatically going to match his purpose. We got the same like mine. He likes music. I do music too. I'm a business person. He might not be the person that's a verbal speaker, but he's more logical. He likes to write the stuff out, and I'm not good with business plans. He's good with business plans. I'm good with speaking. He's not. So it could be an idea he got, a vision he got. But because I'm more of the vocal person, I will go and speak whatever his vision is. You know what I'm saying?
So my other thing is that the way you've learned that was not from a bedroom situation.
No.
You learned that by speaking and talking to each other.
Yeah.
Right. And then fully understanding where each other is.
Definitely.
And so I think that that's another skill that has to be taught to our young people, because now we have social media. We have men are very visual.
Yeah.
And so the video vixen and the model is our aspect of what a woman should be.
Exactly.
The number one downloaded videos in America is pornography.
Oh yeah.
And so this is how most of our young men are introduced to sexuality. They're introduced to what a woman is. It is through physicality.
I find a lot of men don't make love either. They don't know what making love is.
Exactly, because you can't learn that unless you are intimately involved with a woman. And so we'd rather sit up with a screen. These are things we got to talk about. Everybody has access. Our children got access to these phones.
Yes, they do.
And the number one thing that's being downloaded from the ages of 12 to 21 for men is pornography. So maybe
12 to what?
21.
He said
No. It may be, but I'm talking about but I'm talking about statistically. But I'm saying when I'm talking about the stage where we become men.
Yeah.
We're introduced that way.
Yeah.
Now, how does that affect us? It affects us basically how we respond to life. Now, when I say masculine and feminine energy, a lot of people disagree with. In the man are certain chemicals, certain hormones.
Yes.
Testosterone is one. That becomes decreased when people are addicted to pornography, men. And we actually become more feminine in our understanding and how we relate, because that is our
fantasy.
Caught up in the fantasy. Now, the other thing is, in every one of us there's masculine and feminine energy. But the masculine energy is supposed to be of a higher preponderance in males than females. So what we're looking at now, and even with two women together, one is going to be more masculine than feminine in this relationship. If you look really good, the masculine and feminine energy is there to complement each other.
But I think where I think where the conflict comes that a lot of men have when you talk about feminine and masculine energy is a lot of men don't understand how important it is to understand the feminine energy within themselves.
Exactly. So as a man, I'm a leader, right? but I also rely on intuition.
Yes.
So my intuition means I have to know who I am. I also have to know how I got here.
Right.
What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses?
Definitely.
What things happen to me? So in men, internally, we got to do the work.
Right.
Yes.
We got to do the work. But then we have to understand that there are things that our daughters, the women in our lives, are looking for. That if they're not there, we're not going to be successful.
Right.
And so that whole conversation is, what am I and what is masculine energy? You know, and I'm going to tell you one thing. When people say, oh, toxic masculinity, men abuse women, to me, a man that hits and beats a woman, that's not masculine energy to me.
That's a feminine energy.
That's the honor. Because when you get upset, because somebody is speaking to you, and you are so aroused in emotion and trapped in emotion that you have to physically hit. That is a man that lacks masculine energy.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So this is why I say when we have the conversation, we need to address what it is to be masculine and what it is to be feminine. And I'm going to tell you, people start becoming upset about it, but we have to have that conversation defined.
And the reason why that conversation is hard to have is because, let's keep it real, man. There's a certain population of, whether you want to say feminists or LGBTQ, that hijacked the terms of what feminine is, what masculine is, and what toxic masculinity is. And now these conversations start to be controversial. Now, if we say feminine energy, masculine energy, it starts to be like, well, what are you saying is feminine? What are you saying is masculine? Masculinity is always tied to patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? It's always demonized. You know what I mean? Femininity isn't as demonized as masculinity. You know what I mean? And this is what limits us to be able to have these conversations.
Right. And
that's a problem.
Right. And the other thing is that let's be honest, a black man that is strong, educated, about his business has always been a threat.
Big threat.
So as I had a Facebook Live this morning, and I said, when we get media, 85% of the media is controlled by 6 companies. Mm-hmm. So the image that we see of a black man actually comes from somebody that's not black at all.
No.
That is challenged by the image of a black man. So when they start saying the new masculinity and representing that as us, those are the media entities that are against us. So we have to now define what is healthy, what is toxic for us. What I know is toxic for us is having all of these black men out of the houses and not there for their children. I know that's toxic.
But what's also toxic is when we're not the ones defining it,
right?
And when we're allowing women to be the ones defining what masculinity is.
Right.
Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we shouldn't be defining what femininity is.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to oversaturate like with the male voice, you know what I'm saying? I want to still know from y'all though.
But right there, what you said, that goes right back to the start of this whole conversation when we cannot say what masculinity is, therefore they say that a woman cannot raise a man. Going back to what Sabrina said, where was the father? Because in all actuality, like I'm told all the time, well, you can't raise. You know what? No, I don't want to raise a man by myself. I can input things to my son that I feel like he should treat a woman like this. Treat a woman like this, grow up like this. This is how your mother should be. If you treat your mother like this, you should treat the next woman like that. Don't ever, But as far as raising him to be a man and what a man is supposed to do, I cannot do that for him. So therefore, it goes back to what Sabrina was asking: where was the father in this situation?
Even if there's no fathers, I feel like a lot of the grandfathers and the other male figures in our kids' life,
positive male.
Yeah, because like I said, I have 2 daughters and 1 son, and I also said that. I can't, like I said, I don't knock my kid's father. He's not the father that I think he should be. You get what I'm saying? Because we do have a son, but my son biracial, so it's like I could teach him my story, my side, like what our life is based off of. And his father can't teach him none of that. Because his father never had a man behind him to teach him how to be a man himself. But it's like, it brings me back to the point, I always go back to Alicia Keys' song, Raise a Man. That song hit me hard because I always cry because I say, you know what? You never know how strong you is until you're raising a man. You never know.
Let me back you up with that because I want to follow Jay's instruction. y'all are the strongest beings on this planet. The black woman is the baddest, strongest human being.
No, that's real.
Period.
That's real.
Because not for nothing,
No, we are though.
masculinity is birthed from you. And my mother was a single mom. And the one thing that she didn't try to do was teach us how to be men.
Yeah,
She was very specific about treating us how to treat a woman.
Yes.
Very specific.
That's how I am.
Like, she never touched a doorknob. You know, she would walk up to the door. I'm talking about when the door was too heavy for me to hold it open. She's like, make a go at it. And she would stop for the second door as well. And it's like when I got older, that was like one of those messages that I learned. It was like my mother, I always got the first door.
Right.
Sister always got the second door herself. And my mother always made me open the second door.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that we have to do, we got to bring back the village mentality, because in course of battle or war, and I believe that as black people, we're at war.
Yeah.
You know, we I guess in the words of before Kanye, we're at war with racism. We're at war with everything. So in that, uncle, father's not around. There are other uncles, there are other fathers.
Yeah.
And then they did longitudinal studies recently, and they said when they look at black men that are quote unquote what we call successful, that's another whole loaded word to what success is. They could attribute it to one thing: a caring adult in their life, and somebody that modeled the behavior they were to exemplify, a mentor. So the one thing is that we can complain that not enough fathers, but how do we as the village fill in the void?
So to that point, I mean, I could say even for me, you know, I did not have neither parent, neither, no uncles. Father was very little, mother was very little. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I don't think I've ever even been, you know, this ain't to be no sob thing or sympathy thing, but the realness is I've never been embraced by an older male or female in that sense, you know what I'm saying? But that did not get in the way of me being able to show love to my daughter. Like, you wouldn't even know that existed in my life, that was absent in my life.
But
But for some reason, and I think the reason was because as a teen, OGs that was just on the block who just in some kind of way were like, yo, bruh, you don't need to be, this ain't it for you. You know what I'm saying? And then as I got older, other brothers like Steve Driffin, you know what I'm saying? Where it was like moments where I would be able to experience men being men. Yeah. Even with their flaws. You know what I'm saying? Even knowing what they're going through, what they're dealing with. That was enough for me to really be the man I am today. A good man, a king. You know what I'm saying? That didn't come from a specific mentor all the way through. It didn't. It was just people along the way. So this goes to your point of the village. You know what I mean? It was as I was growing, there was a village of people that I would run into and have experiences with that.
I just wanted to say my stepson is on the Big Up Jarvis who's there. He's just basically saying a woman can definitely raise a man. He was raised by only woman, and you have to have love demonstrated to you before you can show it. I also like to say there's some of us that know what we've been missing, so we use that negative so it's not repeated in the next generation. There's some people that say, I saw my mother get beat down.
And that's why.
But that's why I'm so adamant about not becoming an abuser myself. Exactly. And then other people take that and they automatically become an abuser because that's what they see. So there's different ways to process. Sometimes when you are extremely poor, you become a billionaire.
You never want to.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. So
it's called adulthood.
Different. Right.
And it's also knowing your value. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that I'm poor, but I know that my value is wealth.
I want better.
That's just
and that
like
spirituality.
the story of the twins, though. It was two boys, and one never drank and the other one did, and their father was an alcoholic, and they said, yo, how come you didn't drink? And he said, because I watched my father. And then they asked the other twin, why did you become alcoholic? He said, because I watched my father. And listen, like, men, that's why I wanted this. I just wanted to get a round table of men, because it's a problem in today's society. There's a shortage, there's a scarcity, and women aid that.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that as a woman because it seems attacking.
How do you feel women aid that? Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
They aid that because, okay, like the situation with the woman, how she whooped her son. I was having a dialogue on a post about it, and one lesbian woman says, because I was just honing on the fact that where's the father, where's the male, the poor boy need a man, like somebody, and I don't know why there is, maybe there is a man, maybe he's a beta, you know, I don't know.
Or
That's
maybe the father isn't in the household because he probably be in a separate household.
Maybe not.
But the father may be getting custody of the son because of that situation. You got to think about that too.
No, I didn't throw that out.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, yo, there's so many instances why the father may not be there. But my thing is, women got to stop doing that.
You could go ahead.
That's what triggered me when the woman who's a lesbian who plays a man in her relationship, that's clear. She said to me, well, that, you know, a man is not necessarily necessary. Yes, T, why are you saying that?
Man is necessary.
Why are you saying that? And you're a black woman at that. You need to stop that. Because from the beginning of time, whatever, your ancestors might not have been a slave. Maybe your ancestor was a queen or a king. But I'm just saying, back in the day, in slavery times, they did things to our men intentionally in front of us women to demasculate them.
Definitely.
And here we are, eons and eons years later, and y'all still got that mindset. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially today, because it's not just you. It ain't like us back in the day where we had the one TV. We ain't had no phones. There's so many other entities raising your child.
Yeah.
And if you're not the louder voice in your child's ear, the world is.
You better go
and
ahead
the world
with that.
Listen, the world that we live in, you don't want that.
For real.
You want to be the louder voice in your child's ear. I hope, though, that you have good common sense and that you read and that you're in tune with yourself.
Don't tell them anything.
Because a lot of parents today are not parents.
Yes.
And this is the problem.
They more their kids' friends than parents.
And that's dangerous. That's fearful, and it's disgusting in my eyes because it's like the blind leading the blind. It's like you having a baby and saying, here, just be an adult. It's like, what you mean? You gotta show me.
Like everybody say
you gotta love me.
You can, that's the thing. Like everybody says, oh, let your son be a boy. I believe in letting him be a boy, but I'm not letting my son be out here by himself.
No.
He's still gonna be with me. I don't believe in him because, again, like you said, a lot of these TV shows and stuff is raising our children.
No.
I'm big on that.
Yeah.
And I like the games, certain things, it irks me. Like, I know they say, oh, it's okay, let the boy be a boy. But I feel like in so many ways, we got to decrease that as well because, like you said, it's starting to manipulate our kids' minds.
I don't have cable.
I don't either. I don't believe in it.
That's a personal choice of mine. I have internet service. I pay for that. Only because I do a lot of business and I need internet service. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I don't have cable. I do not miss it.
Me neither.
I haven't watched.
They save money.
Nah.
They not growing up on
that's
my daughter is no problem with her. She does know TV. She go to her grandmother people's house. She know what TV is.
That's how much
she got her little show, Stranger Things and stuff that she can. But it's not a big thing to her, and I'm glad. We do affirmations, and I make her watch YouTube videos about slavery when you need to know this. Where we came from, stuff like that. But we're not doing that no more. Parents are not being parents anymore. That's why we got bullies in school. Mm-hmm. That's why it's kids coming to school, and then also that's happening because a lot of parents are their child's first bully. Yeah. So they getting bullied at home, and now they come because you're not healthy.
And that's what they're aggressive come in there when they go to school doing crazy stuff. Right, because
you're not healthy. They're not healthy. Mm-hmm. And here they come to school. You want the teacher to raise them. Yeah. When they come, you know.
But let me tell you something. Exactly what you're saying.
Us.
My son had an issue at school recently where, because I'm a single mother, and this is the second school that brought this up into my face, and I cussed them out. I don't care. You gonna fix that. They said, oh, because of his behaviors, because his father's not around. I ain't like that. I didn't like that for one moment because, like I said, it's points at time. We got to realize these kids go through just as much stress as we do. They just don't say it. They don't verbalize it because a lot of us parents tell you, oh, you a kid. You're not allowed to have these feelings. You're not allowed to have that. You're not allowed to have that. I don't do that no more to my son because one thing I learned, he was going to school with, okay, it could be he missed his father. Could be he don't have a male figure around all the time. And maybe it is something me as a woman I'm not understanding because he's a boy. You get what I'm saying? But I still don't discredit that. And I didn't like the fact as a teacher actually would rub that in my son's face. You don't rub what we're already aware of in his face. But you as an adult, like I told her, you being an adult, I made my son go to class, send him to class. But I told her, I said, don't ever do that.
Right.
Because what you're doing, you're beating down on a child that already beat himself down that his father's not around already. You're beating down that there's not a man figure around him, which you don't know what's going on in my home. Because you think that's where you ruin it. Because there is a male figure that's in his life, but that's not for us to sit up there and verbally tell you because you're in the outside looking in. But she made me feel like, and my son kept acting out until I had to have a long talk with him. And it goes back to when that lady did what she did. My son was acting out too. I could have been that mother, went up there, yanked him out of class and called him out his name and stuff. I went up there on a different note. What I did, I told my son, if you respect me as your mother, you're going to respect these teachers. You're going to talk to these teachers with respect. I couldn't call him out of his name. I couldn't call him out of his character. I can't say you stupid, this and that. I told the teacher, I said, there's some triggers that we might have to figure out about him that he's feeling insecure about doing the work. That could be why he's acting out.
Right.
Instead of me going up there beating down on him, that's why I agree with you that the father thing, it could be. But it's also the way we got to verbalize and communicate with our children for them to feel out of, like, we got insecurities. We all got insecurities in this world.
Yeah.
We all go against, oh, because this person may know to work faster than us. So that's something that I also feel with a lot of men and little boys, they get discouraged because, again, a girl we taught, our mothers read the books with us, hold us, dads patting our head. We all was baby. You get what I'm saying? A lot of boys was made to feel like, oh, we don't got to baby you because you a man. You got to grow up on your own.
You can't cry.
But and I hate that. My father said something like that to my son. It said, no, he said to my daughter, you can't have emotions. I said, I don't know where your old school raising coming from, but I want my kid to have emotions because that's the only way they would not fear life. I want them to be very
it's
expressive.
impossible not have emotions.
Yeah.
But and to not understand them is another thing, not being able to articulate them. But I know, I want us to get to, I guess, maybe not necessarily closure, but to a place where we kind of feel more productive in the conversation. And all of this has been productive, right?
Yes.
So I would like to know from y'all, what do you love about men?
Black men?
Yes. Yes.
That would be nice.
We can use
Hold on.
sleep well for her.
I want to start this one off.
Yeah.
Because I right now have a reputation of being like this crazy, like I don't support, like I just have a bad reputation right now. I want to say
Well, this is going to change all that.
I do love our black men. I love their style, their grace, their elegance. I love how they carry themselves when they are proud of themselves. When they're doing something that makes them proud within, you can see it.
Yeah.
It's a aura that they send out. You can see their pride. Black men are meant to have pride. We come from a lineage of kings and queens. And when a black man feels his kingship inside, you can see that.
You can't
and when
stop
you
them
see
either.
that, it makes us like proud of them, proud to be with them, proud to be around them. But they've been broken down so much. And then because they're broken, they break us.
All right, we ain't got no all that. We focus on what you love. So you want to roll with it. You want to roll with
yes, so I do love our black men. And then we're talented. You guys are so talented. I mean, you guys, you are the starters of a lot of things. You know, you are the what do they call it? Trendsetters.
Yeah.
Black men are trendsetters.
Look at it.
And you guys can make up your own style. I mean, look at the music. A lot of music was stolen from us.
Yeah.
Country, we made. We made country. We made rock. That was black men that made all those. We made rap. Now they're trying to come steal that. You know, like, you guys are the trendsetters. So yes, I do love black men. I love you guys. You guys are dope.
I want to say, Jennifer Somerville, sister said, and respect to my sister, she said, black men are strong, resilient, go-getters, independent.
Yes. I wanna go to the men. Men, can we speak about what we love about black women?
How much time we got?
I'll go all day.
I like that.
Now, I like the fact that black women complement us well. They understand our unique struggle, our journey. I'm not gonna sit here and say, brother, if you dated outside of your race, blah blah blah. But I have never had
crazy.
But I've never had the preference.
I don't understand it.
But I've never had the preference because culturally speaking, that's the woman that gets me.
Right.
But I love the fact that they have been through history, the one carrying the family, giving us hope, pouring into us as young men the love, the kindness. And I know that some of us come from abusive situations, but she's the only one that when we 50 will take us back.
Yes.
I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm 50. Can't go to dad. Man, you better find somewhere to stay.
Your mama.
Can't go to the system. You're grown.
But you know what?
Mama
along with taking us back, yo, there's no other woman. This is the reason why I never
make
dated.
us dinner.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why I never dated outside my race, is because black women. There's no other woman that understands me. You don't like. There's no other woman that really can somehow empathize in some kind of way what I've been through, what I'm dealing with, what I've dealt with, and not only take me back, but understand that. You know what I'm saying? Have that loving nature still there. It's not there's not many times where I've run into a woman who had a wall where she couldn't understand what I'm dealing with when I'm talking to her. Even when I'm saying it, even when she's mad, you know what I'm saying? And I could be articulating it. She still gets it.
Yeah.
I could say this to a white woman, they're like, let me read.
They wouldn't understand.
And try to, let me then try to understand.
that?
Like, no, they get it off the rip. I don't have to work at it. Not to mention the fact that I just like from chocolate skin, brown skin, light skin, full lips to, and I'm talking about physical because men are visual.
Right.
Men are visual. You know what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is, like, yo, I'm like, black women are the most gorgeous beings on the fucking planet. That's the bottom line. Like,
period.
who, where? You know what I'm saying? I don't even care if you go to Hispanic or like.
No, they all try to emulate.
Exactly.
They're melanated too.
But they still try to get the bow tie.
No, they try to get the lips and the body and the booty. And when they get an attitude, they shake their hand like this.
So I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm going to that visual and the fact that, like, from my experience, and even becoming, when I became a father, it was single mothers who gave me. Salute to Miranda McRae. Salute to all the Mercedes, like all the single black mothers who were schooling me on things I could do, and when I'm like, dang, I'm low on cash and I need this. Oh, you can just. I remember one time I had to. My baby was sick and I needed the humidifier, but I didn't have the liquid, the vaporizer liquid. Miranda was like, oh, just microwave the vapor rub and have that liquid poured in. I said, oh, you know what I mean? Like, yo, my whole experience with black women has only been not just influential. You know what I'm saying? So black women, like, there will be no black man without a black woman. We are only as high as we raise you. You know what I'm saying? So just know, and I'm not the only. Every brother that I go on to the street would probably say that, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? So that's my piece on it.
I said the strength, but the resourcefulness.
Yes.
The ability to feed a village.
Oh, that's me. You already know.
Fish and loaves.
Look, I've seen it over and over again, and I know the miracle of it because my sister, who's a year younger than me, was the one who cooked for us as a family. You know, and it's like, who showed her?
It's automatically
it's
in us.
automatically in
It's
you.
in us.
You are
Right.
already programmed to be the baddest, the best,
Listen.
the most thorough, the strongest. And we are honored to be in your presence. We are
Okay,
honored to call you our mothers, our sisters, our aunties, because we know the aunties. Ooh, the aunties.
I'm the
And,
auntie.
and any brothers that you might think are not in place, trust me, even if they haven't said it, they feel the same
They
way.
Yeah.
They just
They
are
do.
in a space.
We
They're in a
know.
place. You know what I mean? And I know y'all
They know who
understand
bails
that. I
them
know
out.
y'all
Yeah.
get this.
Listen, I love the innovators in our black men. Black men
Yes.
are innovators.
They are.
Okay, I watched my father. Listen, my father was a Renaissance man, and so I have to go off of him because he was the most dominant, most persistent, most consistent man in my life. So this is how I know why. This is why I know why I love black men. Black men, man. I watched my father walk in knee-deep snow to work for about a year until he was able to save up enough money to get him a car. I watched him build nothing. Like my father could fix a car, baby, with
Yeah.
a toothpick. You hear me? I watched my father rebuild our house. He did the attic and everything. He did it from nothing. He did. He knocked the walls down and let me have it. I watched my father when my mother did. I watched my dad be a man, man. He never let my mother touch a door. He slept close to the door in the bedroom just in case somebody would come in.
Yep.
Yes.
He'd be the
Yep.
first one there in case anything. When we
Yeah.
go out to eat, my dad taught me this. Not no man I was dating. When we go out to eat, my father will always have to face the door in case something pop off.
Yes.
He need to be facing the door, man. You hear me? My father had a case of guns. Never let me, no kids, nobody. It was a lot secure, but I knew he would protect me.
Yep.
See, and my father made the best steak I ever had in my
Yes.
life.
Oh, girl.
He ain't never put nothing on it but soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce, and I don't know why I still can't make it like that today. What I'm saying is, anything I ever needed in my life, I could call on my dad. You black men are so wonderful.
Yeah.
That's why I love to see. I know a lot of single fathers, and man, it warms my heart because I know so many like my kid's father, and I'm not down to him because. Yo, you can still get up too, my guy.
He could get up.
You can still get up too. See, I got
Exactly.
faith in
They
him. He
can
know
get
it
up.
though.
Yeah.
It's just anyway. Listen, y'all are so wonderful. Y'all are like no other human beings, and that's why y'all was attacked from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they know it.
Yeah.
Y'all plug in whoever y'all think they is. They knew it. They knew it from the beginning that y'all was great. That's why they didn't allow us to learn how to read. That's why they demasculated y'all in front of us.
Yes.
They would rape y'all and do all types, tie you to horses and make one run one way, run the other. They knew that if we had 1 inch, 1 ounce of any type of freedom, I'm talking about reading, any type of knowledge, that we already told. So I want to let the black men know, yo, y'all are wonderful. We need you so much.
Yes.
I love y'all so much. Ain't nobody like the black man.
I just have one more thing to say.
Yeah.
One thing to say.
Yeah.
And this might help people because this happened in my last relationship. And I'm going to give him his props because he deserves his props. My ex-husband is the most talented person. One of the most talented people in New Haven. I don't
Yeah, he
care what
is.
nobody
Yeah, he
says.
is.
My ex-husband is one of the most talented
He is.
men.
He's
in
the
New
only one I
Haven.
actually want to do a film with.
That boy does
He's
graphic
nice.
designing. He does logos. He does videos. He raps himself. He does clothing.
George
The man
Young.
is a jack of all trades when it comes
Yeah.
to artistic ability.
Facts.
What I want to tell women is when you have these type of gems and they might not be there, do not let yourself get so resentful to where you break them down more. And that's what happened in my relationship. I believed in this man so much, but to me, he was not getting up quick enough or not doing what I needed him to do or just dropping the ball where I felt he dropped the ball. So I became resentful and broke him down more. Did not take away from his ability and his talent at
Right,
all.
right.
You can't take that from a man, but it damaged him in other areas.
Yeah.
So what I say to women and men, if in your relationship you become resentful of the other, get out of it.
Yeah.
Don't stay in it because you have too much time. Don't stay in it because you think you can change them and make them better. Leave amicably, but leave.
No
Yeah.
doubt. That's real. All right. Well, did you want to add? Because
I
I want
just wanna
to. Yeah,
say-
I want to end on this positive energy right here.
What could I say? I feel like the more that us as black women, we could keep strengthening a lot of black men to be better in themselves. I'm a black sister that's not giving up on y'all. I don't
No
care
doubt.
how many. I got too many African American men that come to my house that's my dude friends or whatever. They come to me, they ask for advice. They don't know what they're doing. I always tell them there's something. Me being an empath, because I'm an empath, I could see more than just what everybody's seeing them. And I see a lot of strength in a lot of black men, even these young ones. I got 18, 19-year-olds that come to my house because they be with my brother, and I tell them all the same. Stop letting people have a burden over your life. Y'all stronger than what the heck y'all ever think, what y'all imagine. That's why I say we gotta stop. We gotta be their strength.
No doubt.
Because a lot of us don't, a lot of black men don't have the backbone. They don't have the support system. And I'm sorry. I see that that's an era in my life that I noticed, and I don't care. I will stick by it no matter what.
We appreciate
It's time to
y'all.
go to war.
Sabrina, thank you for bringing us together, making it happen. You know what I mean?
Thank you guys. Thank you all for coming. Like, I really
No
love
doubt.
all the
Watching.
insight.
Thank
I
y'all.
just love this.
And masculinity is not toxic.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is not toxic. God bless everybody.
Have a good one, everybody.
Peace, peace.